Coming to you live from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. My name is Ofonono Joseph. Let's take a look at the top stories. Vice President Shettima says Nigeria, Colombia entering new era of cooperation. Federal government launches new curriculum for basic, secondary, technical schools. Plus, Finnish court jails Simon Ekpa 6 years for terrorism offenses. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more in just a moment. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us on the news at this hour. We begin this afternoon from the national scene, where Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that the visit of his Colombian counterpart, Francia Marquez, marks the beginning of a new era in relations between Nigeria and Colombia. Marquez, who arrived in Abuja on Saturday for a 3-day official visit, was accompanied by his spouse, Rafael Okoro, cabinet ministers, senior government officials and business leaders. The delegation is expected to engage Nigerian counterparts in discussions across key sectors to strengthen diplomatic and economic cooperation. Speaking at a gala dinner held at the presidential villa in honor of the Colombian vice president, Shettima said the visit was proof that both nations were set to enter a union that would foster deeper political cooperation and bolder economic ventures. The vice president noted that Marquez's visit to Nigeria is expected to deepen diplomatic and strategic relations between Nigeria and Colombia and enhance collaboration in areas of mutual interest, including governance, trade, agriculture, energy, education and security, among others. Away from that, the federal government has unveiled a new curriculum framework for basic, senior, secondary and technical education to reduce overload and improve the quality of learning in schools. A statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education, said the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, announced the development on behalf of the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa. She explained that the comprehensive review was carried out in collaboration with relevant agencies in the ministry, noting that the reforms were designed to reduce content overload, give students more time to learn, and align education with contemporary global realities. Ahmed said the agencies included the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, NERDS, Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, NSSEC, National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, and other stakeholders. According to the statement, pupils in primary 1 to 3 will take 9 to 10 subjects, while those in primary 4 to 6 will offer 10 to 12. Similarly, junior secondary school students will have 12 to 14 subjects, while senior secondary students will take 8 to 9 and technical schools 9 to 11 subjects. Meanwhile, the federal government has welcomed the landmark judgment of the Päijät-Häme District Court in Finland, which today sentenced Simon Ekpa, a self-styled pro-Biafra agitator, to 6 years imprisonment for terrorism offenses. The government said the ruling stands as a watershed moment, not only for the countless innocent Nigerians whose lives and livelihoods were brutally disrupted by the reign of terror incited and financed by Ekpa and his collaborators, but also for the strengthening of bilateral relations between Nigeria and Finland. A statement signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said for years Ekpa's reckless incitement and orchestration of violence through IPOP terror activities unleashed unspeakable pain on Nigeria. The statement noted that the Tinubu administration remains unshakable in its resolve to defend Nigeria's sovereignty and protect the dignity of every citizen. In a separate development, the Federal Road Safety Corps Ogun Command has advised motorists to reduce speed to curb unnecessary road crashes leading to loss of lives and property during the Ember months. The FRSC commander in charge of the Sagamo-Ore-Benin Expressway, Nasser Mohammed, stated that speed is nice but kills faster than deadly diseases in the world. Mohammed urged motorists to obey road signs and adhere to the average speed limit as one of the means to prevent avoidable crashes during the Ember months and other times in the future. He also advised against night travel, reckless driving, and wrongful overtaking of other vehicles that could be dangerous and may lead to accidents. Now to the nation's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has condoled with the Nigeria Police Force, NPF, over the death of the 18th Indigenous Inspector General of Police, IGP Solomon Arase, CFR, who died in Abuja yesterday. The president acknowledged the dedication of the former IGP to enhancing security in the country through initiatives such as the Intelligence Response Team, the Complaint Response Unit, and safer highway patrols. Reflecting on Arase's laudable service to the country, Tinubu noted that his expertise extended to consultancy roles with the Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA, the European Centre for Electoral Support, the Human Rights Centre at the University of Oslo, and as a member of the Committee on Prevention of Torture in Geneva, Switzerland. He further prayed for the peaceful repose of his soul, adding that his contributions to the nation will not be forgotten. In the same vein, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoyeno has sent his condolences to the family, the Nigeria Police Force (NPF), and associates of the former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase, CFR, whose sad passing was announced yesterday. In a condolence message released by his Chief Press Secretary, Ekerete Udo, Governor Omoyeno expressed shock and sadness over his passing, stating that the late IGP had served the nation meritoriously and reached the height of his career as the 18th Inspector General of Police. The governor noted that during his time as the IGP, he introduced numerous reforms, especially in intelligence gathering, both human and technological applications, to combat and solve crimes, thus ensuring that perpetrators were made to face the full wrath of the law. The statement noted that Arase served in the state as the Commissioner of Police with verve and passion and contributed to laying the building blocks that today have made Akwa Ibom State one of the most peaceful and secure in the nation. Even in retirement, Eno noted that Arase, as the chairman of the Police Service Commission (PSC), continued to serve the nation and never stopped expressing his love and affection for Akwa Ibom State and its people. In a separate development, in line with the agricultural revolution component of the Arise agenda, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoyeno has announced plans to kickstart an unprecedented oil palm tree planting revolution in the state. Governor announced this while addressing the convention victory service at the All Nations Christian Ministry International, Ekpa, to conclude the 21st anniversary and discovery convention of the church. He said the State Committee on Food Security has recommended a template which involves the distribution of improved seedlings, deployment of extension officers in the planting, establishment of oil palm board, and the off-taking of processed oil from different producers. The governor, who had served as the executive director of agriculture investment at the Akwa Ibom State Investment Corporation, AKICOP, said the initiative is a way of putting money in the hands of the citizenry, as the improved seedlings has high yield capacity and fruits within 2 years. He said Akwa Ibom has declined from number 1 to number 4 in oil palm production and needs to take back its pride of place. Governor urged his youths to take advantage of the different job opportunities in the state and to desist from complaining about lack of jobs. He used the opportunity to clear the air and the empowerment for members of support groups in the state, stressing that the monies in the recently published list of support groups and beneficiaries for the different empowerment packages were not given to group heads or any member of the groups to share, but to individuals who applied through the ARAS portal and had registered members of the support groups, stressing that his administration would continue to give business grants. He also used the opportunity to announce plans for a memorial service in honor of the departed State First Lady, Pastor Patience Umoino, slated for September 26, 2025. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that the governor, who is also the Under-Shepherd of All Nations Christian Ministry International, expressed gratitude to God for sustaining the ministry for the past 21 years and appreciated everyone for partaking in the convention activities and the victory service. Now to Africa, where Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa has met Pope Leo at the Apostolic Palace in the Vatican. According to reports, the discussions in the Secretariat of State focused on the positive relations between the Holy See and Zimbabwe. The conversations covered various aspects of Zimbabwe's political and economic situation, particularly the collaboration with the local church in fields such as healthcare, education, and the environment. Additionally, the parties exchanged views on regional issues, underscoring the importance of promoting multilateralism, dialogue, and cooperation among nations. Following the meeting with the Pope, Mnangagwa also met with Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, as well as Monsignor Paul Richard Gallagher, Secretary for Relations with States and International Organizations. On the foreign scene, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has appointed Cabinet Minister Darren Jones to a newly created number 10 role and shakes up his team as members of Parliament return. Jones, previously Chief Secretary to the Treasury, will be responsible for helping the Prime Minister deliver the government's priorities. Starmer also said that Home Secretary Vet Cooper will later outline rules for people granted asylum who plan to bring their families to the UK. Still on the foreign scene, the Paijat-Hame District Court today sentenced Nigerian-born Finnish Simon Ekpa to 6 years in prison for terrorism-related crimes and other offences, according to official court documents seen by reporters today. The 40-year-old former municipal politician from Lati was convicted on multiple charges, including participation in the activities of a terrorist organization incitement to commit crimes for terrorist purposes, aggravated tax fraud, and violations of the Lawyers Act. The court ordered that Ekpa remains in custody. According to the judgment, between August 2021 and November 2024, Ekpa attempted to promote the independence of the so-called Biafra region in southeastern Nigeria through illegal means. The court also found that Ekpa was instrumental in founding and developing the separatist movement into a more organized structure, working alongside others. Meanwhile, Ekpa denied all the charges against him. Still to come in the news. Newcastle reopens talks with Brentford for visa. Stay tuned for details of this in a jiffy. Welcome back. Many thanks for sticking with us. Now we conclude the rest of our news stories. On our business news, the federal government has said that many federal workers are unable to access its housing loan schemes because they have mortgaged their salaries through multiple loans from commercial lending agencies. The Executive Secretary of the Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board, Hajiya Ahmed, explained that the heavy loan deductions from workers' salaries make them ineligible for housing loans. She disclosed this at the Permanent Secretary's quarterly forum with union leaders organized by the Service Welfare Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation recently. She explained that the board was partnering with mortgage institutions and private developers to make housing more affordable for civil servants. Still in business, the federal government has directed ministries, departments and agencies to exclude consultants, corps members and other non-permanent workers from their personnel payroll in the 2026 budget. The directive was contained in the 2026 Personnel Cost Budget Core Circular issued by the Budget Office of the Federation. The circular was signed by the Director General of the Budget Office, Tanimu Yakubu, and addressed to ministers, service chiefs, permanent secretaries, and heads of parastatals. According to the circular, only legitimate employees of the federal government are to be reflected in the personnel cost budget. In health, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has alerted the public about an unregistered Gold Vision oxytocin injection 10IU bearing a fake registration number. The alert, numbered 028/2026, was published on the agency's official website today. NAFDAC said the product was falsely claimed to be manufactured by a company in China. It added that the product was marketed by a firm in Enugu State. The agency said the product was uncovered during a risk-based sampling survey carried out by officers of its Post-Marketing Surveillance Directorate. Still talking health, the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria (PSN) Lagos State Branch has blamed the federal government and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control for the alarming surge in drug prices across the country, describing government interventions as ineffective and poorly implemented. The state chairman of the society, Oyekunle Babayemi, in a statement made available to newsmen said, President Tinubu's executive order designed to crush drug prices has failed completely and is now worsening the pharmaceutical crisis in the country. He specifically criticized NAFDAC for imposing what he described as exploitative and unjust fees on drug importers and manufacturers, which, according to him, are directly responsible for the spike in prices. The PSN chairman argued that no meaningful reform in drug distribution and pricing can be achieved under the current health leadership structure. We move now to sport, where Newcastle are closing in on an agreement for Brentford forward Yohan Wissa worth more than £50 million, a day after he urged the Bees to keep the award and let him leave. Brentford have already rejected 2 offers for Wissa this summer, with the latest being £35 million guaranteed plus £5 million in add-ons. This comes after Liverpool agreed a British transfer record fee of £125 million to sign Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Still talking sports, Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has expressed his disappointment regarding the poor state of the Free State Stadium pitch in Bloemfontein ahead of their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Lesotho and Nigeria's Super Eagles. South Africa is scheduled to host their neighbor Lesotho on September 5 before facing a challenging match against the Super Eagles 4 days later. In a recent announcement of his 23-man squad, Bruce criticized the venue, which was expected to be in optimal condition following the COSAFA Cup held there in June. On our entertainment news, Nigerian activist Martins Vincent Oshe, widely known as Very Dark Man, has reacted to the death of Ruth Otabo, the younger sister of reality TV star Fina, who reportedly lost her life following a fatal accident. Ruth tragically passed away on Sunday, August 31, 2025, after battling for her life for 19 days. She was hit by a Dangote truck, reportedly driven by an unlicensed driver in Auchi, Edo State. In a video posted on Instagram on Sunday, VDM strongly criticized Nigerians, bloggers, and government agencies for their silence during the period Ruth was battling for her life, only to become vocal after her passing. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. I am Ofonono Joseph. Good afternoon and Happy New Month.